I'm Taylor Brock. Mayor Lee is away. It's Tuesday, December 30th. Today, a deadly blaze. Where a Monday fire claimed a life and who's taking over the investigation. Also today, turning the lights back on. When Manitoba Hydro says power will be restored to a Northern First Nation that's been in the dark since Sunday. Plus, pump prices plunge.
Prices have been so much lower this year than where they've been in prior years.
Just how low gas prices might go in Manitoba and for how long. Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. One person is dead and 3 others are recovering after a fire destroyed a home in Winnipeg's Lord Roberts neighborhood yesterday. The city says a home in the 700 block of Nassau Street was fully engulfed in flames when crews arrived around 1 p.m. Monday. 3 people got out on their own, but police say a man in his 40s was later found dead inside. The other 3 were brought to hospital and have since been released. It took crews more than 3 hours to declare the fire under control. The Winnipeg Police Service says its major crimes unit is now investigating. Turning now to that major power outage that prompted a state of emergency in one northern community. Manitoba Hydro now expects power to be restored for Pimicikamak Cree Nation by 6 p.m. Thursday. The community has been in the dark since Sunday night after a 1,000-foot power line overtopped the Nelson River failed. Hydro workers with specialized equipment began arriving Monday night. The Crown utility says they managed to clear a road to the affected area today. It says the restoration time depends on having weather safe enough for helicopters. Now, Pimicikamak declared a state of emergency in the hours after the outage happened and has set up warming and support centers for residents, while others have been evacuated to Thompson. This according to online statements from Chief David Monius, who warned about the dire situation his community is facing. Monius says water tanks are beginning to freeze and people will soon lose access to potable water. He says many people are still inside their homes and are using candles and generators for heat and light, increasing the risk of fire. He added the community ran out of fuel for the generators, but more is being trucked in. Some 600 more generators are expected to arrive today. CTV News has reached out to Chief Monius for more information. We are still waiting to hear back. And speaking of Manitoba Hydro, the Public Utilities Board has approved a rate increase beyond what the Crown Corporation was asking for. The PUB has ordered a 4% interim general rate increase effective January 1st. That's 2 days from now. Hydro was asking for a 3.5% bump, but the PUB says ongoing drought conditions have punched a $625 million hole in the utility's finances, and a larger increase is necessary to protect its financial stability. The PUB is expecting to make a final rate decision for the remainder of the 2026-28 fiscal term sometime in the new year. A Selkirk man is facing several charges in Ontario following a police investigation into the alleged movement of drugs from Winnipeg to Kenora. Ontario Provincial Police say the investigation led them to try to stop a vehicle on Highway 17 near Kenora earlier this month. The driver refused to pull over, but police say they were able to find them at a home in Keewatin. A search of the home allegedly turned up several hundred grams of suspected cocaine, crack cocaine, psilocybin, and packaging materials. A 50-year-old man is facing charges including possession for the purpose of trafficking and flight from police. The city is looking to make it easier for people who are hard of hearing to access city services. It's put out a request for hearing loop systems at the number of public facilities. A hearing loop system is a type of technology that captures audio, in this case from a microphone used by a public-facing worker, and transmit it directly into a person's hearing aid or cochlear implant. The RFP says the city wants to begin installing them at places such as Millennium Library, police headquarters, and some rec centers. It also describes the work as a pilot project and leaves the door open to expand the system to other locations. A city spokesperson says they expect to have it in place by mid-2026. Many Manitobans are seeing lower gas prices at the pump around the $1.10 per liter mark. That's according to one analyst. The prices are expected to remain relatively low for weeks to come.
Yeah, a lot of factors going on really to bring lower gas prices coast to coast across Canada. First and foremost, the federal carbon tax pause is keeping prices about 18 cents a liter lower than where they were last year. So that's a big part of how low prices have gotten. Why we've trended lower the last 6 weeks really has to do with the oil prices, as OPEC has progressively increased oil production this year. Oil prices have been under a lot of pressure. In fact, in the last week, oil prices touched their lowest level since 2021.
Patrick DeHaan with Gas Buddy says that with people on vacation and holiday school closures, a drop in demand is also lowering the prices. He says that prices at some Manitoba gas stations are as low as $1.04 a liter, but adds most remain above $1.
We tend to see gas prices remain relatively low through about Valentine's Day. That's when we start to see the seasonal factors reverse. Demand for gasoline will start to go up as spring break eventually hits. As temperatures warm up, Canadians will get out more. We also start the transition to cleaner, more expensive blends of gasoline in early March. So by usually mid-February, we've seen prices bottom out.
He also says that changes to the Russia-Ukraine conflict or a regime change in Venezuela could impact prices at the pump. 2 more drivers were slapped with an immediate roadside suspension as the Winnipeg Police Service continues to roll out its holiday check stop program. Police say between December 21st and 28th, 272 drivers were stopped. That's a little more than 900 fewer than during the previous week. 10 drivers were found to be under the influence of drugs or alcohol, down 36 from the previous week, and 8 drivers registered a warrant reading on a roadside test. The check stop program will continue into New Year's Eve. And CTV weather specialist Colleen Brady is joining us with your first look at your Skywatch evening forecast. Colleen, what are we seeing?
Well, it's been an interesting day weather-wise, Taylor. Atmospherically, the setup over the prairies is such that some areas are quite cold. Temperatures were, in fact, falling in parts of the province, while other places like Brandon got up above freezing. Earlier this morning, Brandon was very close to 2 degrees and stayed at around 1 throughout much of the day. Well above normal for this time of year, obviously. It was fairly mild here in the southeast, just not quite as mild as parts of the southwest. But while the temperatures were rising in Brandon, they were falling in Dauphin. So it's been quite a day. Light snow has returned to Winnipeg as it has to much of the province. Other areas of the province tonight are under a cold warning. There's also a winter storm watch in effect. I'll show you where coming up as we inch closer to the new year coming up before you know it. Let's take a look right now, though, first through the Bathfitter Live Eye. Bathfitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. Light snow falling in Winnipeg right now. It's -9 with a wind chill. It feels like -18. Winds from the northwest at 26 kilometers an hour. The pressure's rising and the humidity is 89%. Out in traffic on the second to last day of 2025. A live look down into Confusion Corner. Very busy traffic, but moving well through that part of the city.
Cybersecurity is going to be huge and even more huge going into the future.
Coming up, avoiding scams on Boxing Week deals. What you need to know to stay safe.
Get Winnipeg's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
Silver climbed today after recording its biggest one-day drop in more than 5 years. The metal climbed above $74 an ounce today after a 9% slide on Monday. Silver is now on track for a 35% monthly gain. Gold also edged up after its steepest drop in 2 months. And despite the pullback earlier this week, gold and silver remain on track for their best annual performance since 1979. And here's the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar dropped slightly to $73.02. West Texas Intermediate is down to $57.94. Western Canadian Select also ended the day lower at $44.61. And the TSX lost 30 points today, closing at 31,866. Those are your business headlines. I'm Lindsay Biscaya.
Market Watch is brought to you by Manitoba Blue Cross. Group health plans for any size business.
If you're hunting for Boxing Week deals, it may be even more important now to look at the ads and promotions very closely. Consumer experts warn that scammers are using artificial intelligence more often to make schemes harder to spot. CTV's Hannah Schmidt has the details.
'Tis the season for scams.
If they're sending an odd link or they're asking you to, gather some weird information, then you know that that's a red flag that should be popping up.
Each year, there's a spike in fraud during the holidays, especially scams targeting shoppers, according to the Better Business Bureau.
Boxing Day deals, they're tempting, and scammers, they count on it. Watch out for too good to be true deals. Really, at the end of the day, it's that old adage.
Dennis says fraudsters use social media to lure bargain hunters, tamper with gift cards, and trick people into sending personal information.
Scammers are always creating new and improved lookalike websites. So make sure that URL, you're really checking it. So the other thing to be careful this time of year as well are those phishing emails and texts. They're extremely common.
Dennis adds that artificial intelligence is now being used to generate fake websites, realistic customer service chats, and even cloned voices, making scams harder to detect.
It's assisting scammers in looking more legitimate and getting more targeting.
Do your due diligence after that, and that's typically calling the person that sent the email to try and make sure, is this a legitimate email that you sent on, or, is the link that you're sending me something that's actually sent by you?
Obviously, cybersecurity is going to be huge, and even more huge going into the future as AI becomes more and more of an issue as far as, more and more sophisticated scams goes.
It's a tricky situation that's costing Canadians hundreds of millions of dollars. As of September, the Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre says Canadians lost approximately $544 million in fraud scams, and there were more than 23,000 fraud victims across the country.
Most people don't report it. They're embarrassed. So that isn't even a true number. That's probably only 5 to 10% of the actual loss that's happened here in Canada.
Police say there are clear warning signs shoppers should look for and ways to protect against scams, including watching for spelling or grammar mistakes on websites, buying only from reputable sellers, analyzing seller profiles carefully, and hanging up or deleting suspicious calls or messages. With AI making scams more convincing, officials say trusting your instincts and taking a moment to double check could protect more than just your wallet.
There's always that sense of urgency, and we need to do it now. Take that 5 minutes and do your research. Give it some thought before moving forward.
Hannah Schmidt, CTV News.
Up amongst the ranks with great venues like Royal Albert Hall in London, as well as the Radio City Music Hall in New York.
Why one Winnipeg theater is receiving global recognition and what that could mean for its future, coming up next in Spotlight.
Have a news tip? When you see news happening, let CTV News Winnipeg know. Text your tips, pictures, and videos to 10400. That's 10400. Message and data rates may apply.
When you give a child a winter coat, you give them the means to go to school on a cold day, a chance to play outside, because no child should be freezing cold. Donate to Coats for Kids. Proudly sponsored by United Way Winnipeg and CTV. Spotlight, sponsored by the Casinos of Winnipeg, presenting Men Without Hats and the Spoons.
Colleen Brady has your Spotlight today. And Colleen, I hear it's been a particularly busy year for the Burton Cummings Theatre.
Has it ever, Taylor? The downtown theatre sported record numbers in sold-out shows and performances, and it received international recognition.
It's a great honor to be included in the top 200 theaters. It's up amongst the ranks with great venues like Royal Albert Hall in London, as well as the Radio City Music Hall in New York. So to keep Winnipeg in the conversation is a great feat, and we're really proud of it.
Get this, Taylor. The Burt ranked in the 92nd spot in the world for ticket sales among theaters this year. That's according to Pollstar, a global trade publication for the live entertainment industry. Just over 90,000 tickets were sold from January to October at the venue. The theater also placed 5th in Canada and 75th in North America based on ticket sales.
Being included in that top 200 list keeps the conversation alive with agents and managers, as well as different artists, making sure that they see a place like Winnipeg and go, oh, why haven't we played there? Why don't we go there? So to make sure that we can bring that stature of our city up, as well as the stature of the theater, only means that hopefully we can get more and bigger concerts.
The Burt also welcomed 115 performances this year and 27 sellout shows, according to True North Sports and Entertainment. The company took ownership of the 1,500-seat theater in 2016.
Colleen, one of the best-selling musical artists of all time, I hear, has hit a new milestone.
That's right. Beyonce is now a billionaire, according to Forbes magazine, becoming one of only 5 musicians to reach the milestone.
This ain't Texas. Ain't no hold on. Lay your cards down, 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 down.
The 44-year-old joins the small group of entertainers to be declared billionaires by Forbes, including her husband Jay-Z, Taylor Swift, Bruce Springsteen, and Rihanna. The publication says most of her wealth comes from her music and global tours.
Well, Colleen, Bridgerton fans, including myself, have something forward to look to in the new year, right?
Oh, you sure do, Taylor. And we now know there's a touch of Cinderella in this next season of Bridgerton.
Behind the cover of a mask, anything can happen.
We must find the owner of this glove.
You sound as if you have been made.
The new trailer for season 4 of the hit series is fleshing out the new love story, this time for Benedict Bridgerton. And stop me if you've heard this before. There's a ball, a mysterious maid playing dress up, and a deadline to leave the party by midnight. Bridgerton season 4 drops in 2 parts, first on January 29th and then on February 26th.
Sounds like we'll have a viewing party, Colleen.
That's right. Okay,
I'll
you
make
got
the
it.
popcorn.
2 of them, yes. Okay.
Well, staying kind of in Europe, I understand a power couple can now go by Monsieur and Madame Clooney.
Mais oui. France's government says George Clooney and his wife Amal and their twins have been awarded French citizenship. The announcement confirmed an ambition Clooney alluded to earlier this year, where he praised French privacy laws that shield his family and particularly his children from paparazzi. The couple purchased an estate in France in 2021, which Clooney described as their primary residence.
Merci, Colleen.
De rien, Taylor. Your primetime lineup tonight starts at 7 with the Marvel action flick Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. There you go. Then at 10, it is The Big Bang Theory. I know how to say that one. Followed by E-Talk at 10:30. It's all right here tonight on CTV. A live look at the St. James Bridge. And yeah, there are still folks working, including Taylor and myself. We're not on the roads, though. Those folks on the bridge moving well southbound and northbound right now in Winnipeg. Some light snow out there, too, so watch out on the bridges. It's minus 9 degrees.
Women's clothing provided by RW & Company. Salon services provided by S&Teak Spa Salon.
CTV Skywatch weather brought to you by South Beach Casino and Resort. Visit southbeachcasino.ca.
CTV weather specialist Colleen Brady has your complete Skywatch forecast. Colleen, how cold is it up north?
Well, there are cold warnings in effect for much of the province. In the northern half, I should say, none in the south. I've talked about how we had a mild day. To the east and northwestern Ontario, there's a little bit of light snow still trundling along. But in northern Manitoba, not the entire northern half of the province, but most of it is under this yellow cold warning issued by Environment Canada. Now, you have to feel for those folks up in Cross Lake without any power. Not under the warning, but still expected to drop to minus 30 degrees there. But areas further north, there's Cross Lake there for reference, not under the warning. Thompson is a little further north, as are other areas like Brochet, Dooley Lake, Churchill. Churchill's under another warning, which I'll get to in a moment, but it feels like minus 37 there right now. Here in the south in Winnipeg, it feels like minus 8. You saw, it feels like +1 in Melita because that's what it is right now, the actual temperature. Now, up in the Churchill area, there's also a winter storm watch in effect. That's not for tonight. That's what's headed your way tomorrow. Blizzard or near blizzard conditions expected in 90-kilometer-an-hour plus wind gusts blowing around snow. You're going to have a very blustery or blizzardy start to your New Year's there. Meanwhile, we'll see some light snow come through southern Manitoba tonight. The north clears out. We will clear out as well through the day as the temperature falls into the mid-20s tomorrow afternoon. Quick zip through the Futurecast there takes us into the new year, where we'll start off with a few flurries here. Oh, that's some extra snow there for you. Why not? Minus 20 is our low tonight with that light snow falling. Winds out of the northwest at 20, gusting to 40 kilometers an hour. And then tomorrow, New Year's Eve, you see the asterisk that tells you temperatures will be dropping during the day to minus 24. Now, there's the good possibility we'll see a little bit of light snow take us into tomorrow morning, then more of a mix of sun and cloud. And those northwest winds will ease up as the skies start to clear in the afternoon. So if you're heading out for New Year's Eve, the temperature doesn't drop all that much further. It really will hold steady around minus 24 or so. Then we get into Thursday, the first day of the new year. Chance of some flurries, pretty good chance, up to minus 16 degrees. Sunshine Friday, minus 17. Then the first weekend of the new year starts off mostly cloudy Saturday with a high of minus 14, up to minus 11 on Sunday, with a pretty good likelihood of a few flurries passing by. Cloudy on Monday. To our weather photos. This first one is a very snowy look out at St. Vital Park here in the city. That photo is from Larry. And this next one, they're busy out there in Altamont here in southern Manitoba and south central Manitoba to be more precise. That photo is from Jeanette. Send us your pics to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
The CTV Skywatch Pick of the Day is brought to you by the Manitoba Chiropractors Association. We've got your back.
Now, these childhood pen pals have found an amazing new link as adults.
When I found these letters, I was shocked to see your picture.
More than 30 years ago, Megan and Susan from Pennsylvania became pen pals through a school project. Years later, Megan had 2 kids who were delivered by her doctor, Susan Pugh. As she's going through some old letters, she realized that her doctor and pen pal were the same person.
Oh, wow.
Turns out they actually even met once in person in the 90s. I don't think, Colleen, that they'll forget this reunion.
Absolutely not.
I mean, nowadays,
What are the odds?
I think a lot of folks use Facebook for this now, though, but it's a little tricky if you change your last name.
I suppose so. We're all connected.
I guess.
In lots of ways, Taylor.
Maybe it's time
lots
to
of
buy.
Ways.
Okay. Maybe we knew each other before. Maybe.
Philosophical as we approach the end of the year.
Well, CTV National with Sandy Ronaldo, who maybe we're even connected with.
I hope so.
Starts now. We'll see you back here for CTV News at 6 o'clock.